Welcome to What's What with Benji What. I am Benji, obviously. And alongside me, we've got Kendall, the Caucasian Cannon Cooper.
Sup? Glad to be here.
Do you know, it's a little bit of an upgrade from last time, because before we're doing it over, like, laptops, and it was crappy quality. Just a little bit, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was quantity, not quality.
Yeah, exactly. And now we're here in my bedroom. Live in my bedroom. We've got the whole, like, we've got the belt in the background, we've got boxing gloves, we've got the random logo of Google.
Yeah, some boxing stuff. I wouldn't call it your bedroom. Don't say that anyway.
I'm not supposed to tell you, but yeah, Kendall comes to my bedroom all the time.
No.
Oh no!
Alright, episode 1 of What's What with Benji What, the new season.
That is not going out.
The first topic we've got for today is David Tua is inducted into the prestigious Boxing Hall of Fame, the International Boxing Hall of Fame.
International, okay, so not just for New Zealand.
Not just for New Zealand.
What do they have in New Zealand?
They don't have a New Zealand Boxing Hall of Fame.
Yeah. No, not boxing, but I was just thinking of like getting their Sir and Knighted, and yeah, for some reason that's what I was thinking for. Any award in New Zealand. So this is international, okay.
Yeah.
So
Well, we do have the sports. I think it was like Sports of the Year or something like that.
that could be next from to be knighted.
From to be knighted, Sir David Tua.
Yeah.
So David Tua is really well known as being one of, if not the best boxer to not have a world title bout.
Yeah.
And this is probably why he got inducted. But what do you think is the biggest moment for David Tua in his career? Would it be the Lennox Lewis fight or the Shane Cameron fight?
Lennox Lewis. Going for that world title. I didn't totally agree with Tua versus Shane. It was just like, we've got two strong warriors that are attacking the world stage, and they're sort of potentially taking each other out. But when he's up against Lennox Lewis, he's up against the world, and that was remember watching that at the ABA.
At
The ABA.
You watched that fight at the ABA?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was like 8 years old when that was happening.
Okay.
God, that really shows my age. But I think that's like the first boxing fight I've ever seen. That's actually how I got into boxing. But the whole Shane Cameron versus David Tua, I just recently created a Wikipedia page about it, so I'm quite more knowledgeable around that certain event. Because I dig a lot of deepness into it. And like it was interesting because it was originally booked in for June that year to be held at Waikato Stadium.
Okay.
I wish it actually still happened at Waikato Stadium.
Down the line, but Hamilton
Yeah.
area, yep.
Because it happened at Mystery Creek because of Shane Cameron's injury.
Okay.
But do you think that that fight shouldn't have happened between David Tua and Shane Cameron?
Oh no, I mean it's good for boxing. It's good for New Zealand boxing. It gets people, taking sides. New Zealanders I think like taking sides and that sort of thing. And it was still good. It was just sort of recognizing that you've got two strong people. Nearly taking each other out.
I think also that's what New Zealand discovered their love for boxing again for watching that fight as well.
Yeah.
Because of Duco did such an amazing job of marketing it. I think they marketed it like for a full year straight leading up to the event. So it was a big moment for both boxers, getting $500,000 each. And I looked into it, and the pay-per-view buys was at the time the greatest in history. Could still be.
Oh, okay. For New Zealand history.
And I think it was like a world record as per country capita with 88,000 buys on pay-per-view.
Okay.
Which is actually still quite a bit, because like think about it, it's 88,000 people buying what was it, a $40 or $30
Yeah, it would have been 30 or 40.
Yeah. But David Tua being inducted into the prestigious Hall of Fame, who do you think should be next if it came from New Zealand?
Depending on the reason for being inducted. So is it because of his achievements in the sport? I thought it was because of his service to the sport
It could be both.
afterwards, yeah.
Oh no, it'll be
Not just what he had done.
no, it'll be his
But-
achievements, I'd say.
Okay. That could be something worth investigating because I've always thought it was what he's given to the sport over time. But yeah, for maybe the International Boxing Hall of Fame, yeah, now I'm thinking it would be the achievements. Because I really like, he was like second to... I was going to say David. He was second to David Tua. He was second to Mike Tyson for first round knockouts.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
And nearly got because he nearly got to 50 fights, or he nearly got to.
I think he got to 50 wins, but
Okay.
like I don't think he.
It was the first round knockouts that was like a massive number that was only that's held by Mike Tyson. And just the power. So just the
left hook. And,
formidable force to be reckoned with, and he was no joke.
And as I said before, he's known as the best boxer to not have won a world title. So
yeah.
But
no, well deserved, well earned.
I think
Put in the work, and he's still doing it.
I think no, he's not boxing.
No, but he's still doing the service.
He's
still
training,
doing the work and giving back to the community and being there for the people. So he's the people's champion.
This is interesting because this boxing hall of fame is dedicated to men, and there's a separate women's boxing hall of fame that's only recently been produced. And I think Daniela Smith should be the next one to be inducted because she is the first IBF women's world champion ever. So
true.
And like I think she's the first she is the first New Zealand's world champion as well.
Yeah.
And obviously second to Geovana.
And especially
not second, like next came Geovana.
Yeah, and especially with Daniela carrying on giving back to the boxing community. So it's not about just sort of come in, get about, and then leave.
Yeah.
It's do the mahi, get the treats, and then also give back.
Yeah, especially how she not only she trains the amateur boxers, corporate boxers, but she also she promotes events regularly, raising
charity.
Raising money for charity. I think she's raised like over $100,000.
For
Women's Refuge. And it's not just for Women's Refuge. She she creates scholarships and stuff like that, and gives back in multiple ways.
Yeah, building up the community for something that's helped her so much. So she's recognised how much it's helped her, and helping other people, giving them a hand up instead of a hand out.
Okay, next is this is kind of recent. It's been about a month since this has happened. Is Geovana retaining her WBO World Light Heavyweight title?
Defence in New Zealand. Is that the first time it's been defended? A world title has been defended?
No, well, there's Joseph Parker defending it against the Romanian boxer.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which the name escapes me. I know people are going to shout. And I was like, who the? But Geovana, she did a very good job. It was her first knockout win, a TKO, but a knockout win of her career.
Totally.
Winning every round, I think she did.
Yeah, I guess I was the only one that didn't give her the first round, but I just knew that she was going to come back stronger. So I just knew that she was always going to, keep progressing, keep the momentum going, building on what she'd learned. I just think she did a little bit less in the first round than she did in the upcoming rounds after that. So I think she worked out her opponent. She worked her out, wore her out, and then took her out.
It was interesting watching the fight because Terry, the trainer, recognised instantly that Claire got a cut in that first round.
Yeah, I was going to say she didn't have the power, she could walk through it.
Yeah, but it wasn't that obvious at the first round, but it was obvious leading up to those other rounds, and he recognised it in the first round, which is great. And I saw on Sky TV that Claire's corner kept on saying, "Oh, you won that round, but they're probably most likely going to give it to them anyway. But it's okay."
Yeah.
It's like almost like a little.
But it could be good motivation. So yeah,
could be good motivation. But like it's like it's a denial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting her to focus on certain things, because whenever I've been in the corner, I've hated being asked, how am I feeling and stuff like that. It's like, well, I'm tired, but it's just focusing on what you need to do. Don't worry about what you haven't done well.
Yeah, and I think like by the end of the fight, I think like it finished between the 8th and 9th round by TKO, but I think by the end of the fight, Claire actually had 2 cuts on, one on each eyebrow, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, with ref stepping in, because he had warned that he was going to step in a couple of times, and he had him gone to the corner at the end of the round and really motivated them to say, hey, if she's not giving enough back, then it's going to be called. So you've got another round to show that you want to be here. And you can handle being here.
It's like at the end of like the 6th round and the end of the 7th round, and giving that warning.
Yeah.
But it was a really good fight for women's boxing. Really good fight for New Zealand. It's unfortunate because like every time Claire landed a punch, Geovana had not unfortunate for Geovana, unfortunate for Claire. Every time Claire landed a punch, Geovana had 5 punches to that punch. And they were quite significant punches, and like she set them up pretty well.
Yeah, there's some good landing, scoring shots, bouncing her head back, and she was patient enough. She wasn't rushing in. Geovana wasn't rushing in and getting blown out with her effort. She was seeing the shot, picking them off, and then changing angles. So listening to Terry in the corner.
Yeah, and it's interesting because coming into this fight, Geovana had no idea what sort of the whole camp had no idea what Claire was going to be like.
If not, no footage
online,
or not as much footage as they would have seen Geovana. Yeah,
exactly. Well, I don't think there was any footage of Claire.
Okay.
And like Geovana, she had footage of her fight with Tessa. I think there's somewhere footage of her against Lani. There's a couple other fights, wasn't there? As well. I can't remember where, but yeah, there are a couple other fights. So there's lots of footage of Geovana out there. There's nothing of Claire, and like leading into this, giving Claire the advantage, and Geovana still come up on top.
Yeah.
Yes. Next topic.
What do we got?
Parker pulls out the big fight with Chisora.
Yeah, I was looking forward to that happening. I saw a couple of the matchups of them talking back and forth, and I think that was would have been a good fight. War Chisora
pulling out because of the spider fight.
Yeah,
spider
fighting with a spider.
A spider bite.
Spider bites. Yes, I'm not too sure whether the doctors can do tests to point out, prove exactly what's in the bloodstream or what an infection or what there was. But I think they have to give a reason. Yes. They have to be there for the public to point out, why they're not potentially. And I mean, in those big fights, it comes down to seconds and inches, and you don't want anything going against your momentum.
Well, it's interesting because as far as I'm aware of, they stopped this from happening because of blood poisoning, which can be caused by a spider bite.
Yeah.
But they think it was a spider bite, but the thing is that a lot of people were calling bullshit about the whole thing because they weren't exactly sure. Yeah. There wasn't a lot of, a lot of evidence that they were showing that he had a spider bite.
Yeah.
Generally when someone has a spider bite, they generally say, "Oh, look at this."
They can see the evidence, but I think he had seen the doctor, got some advice, and he's in a position to be able to take things seriously. And at that level, it's just about taking the precautions.
Well, also, I think the selling factor here is that when they said that they got a spider bite, they said that they think it was a spider bite.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like, well, is it a spider bite or wasn't it? It doesn't actually exactly, tell us anything. It's like we think this is a spider bite.
Yeah, I just think the social media side of information is that we need something.
Yes, and there wasn't that something that it was actually telling us what was happening.
Yeah, we don't want to hear, the fight's off. It's like, okay, why?
Yeah.
It need at least something.
Yeah. And it's like we don't want to. You think it is. So it's like, what's actually happening? But we do know that he was. He's now back into training. After 3 weeks off from what the doctor has told.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor, so I don't know how much his recovery time is from a spider bite or whatever he had.
Yeah.
They're hoping to get a fight before the end of the year, and hopefully on the
October, November. Okay.
Yeah, October or even December.
Yeah. We've got a couple of months.
On the Joshua Ruiz.
Oh yeah, so that's this year.
Yeah, in Saudi Arabia. So
nice. That would be big. Cool.
Or maybe if the winner between Chisora and David Price.
Because, that was what I was trying to think of.
Yeah, in the December fight. Is that enough time?
Oh wow.
October?
I would say no.
No, but then again,
um,
David Price would probably take it, but Chisora wouldn't.
Well, David Price wouldn't be able to take it if he got knocked out. He might be out for 3 months, or he'd be
No,
out.
I mean, like, he would take it if he
a
won the
month.
fight.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because he's
Yeah,
that,
definitely.
because he's that sort of person that would take the fight because
there.
regardless of how much training. I mean,
At that level.
I mean, we're less than a month away, and he took this fight, so
Yeah. Yeah. And at that level, they should be, ready, good to go on.
Actually, now that I think about it, I remember a while ago that they were trying to get a David Price versus Joseph Parker fight like years ago, before the world title fight happened, and they decided not to go to chase it any further because David Price had his loss against that German guy.
Oh, yeah.
German guy?
How tall
German guy?
how tall is David Price?
I think he's 6'9".
6'9".
It's like
Oh,
same.
it wouldn't be that. I was gonna guess whether it could be a difference between David Tua and.
Well, I guess it would probably be, but
Parker's like
6'4".
6'4". Okay, yeah.
So there is still quite.
That's nothing.
It's still.
That's nothing.
It's
5 inches.
5 inches.
Okay.
How much is 5 inches between me and anyway?
That's 5 inches, isn't it? Is that 5 inches? Anyway.
Why are you basing that off? Okay, well, our next discussion is that Robert Berridge has announced that he's making his return in the ring.
Yeah, and big fight.
A big, massive fight against Damien Hopper.
Super Hooper.
Super Hooper. Now, there's an interesting fight.
Hopper would be Hopper.
Oh,
so because I'm a Cooper, I can tell.
Oh, yeah, Cooper.
I'm a Super Cooper. So.
Super Cooper Hooper.
Super Hooper. Okay. And good for boxing.
Good
so
for
Berridge
boxing.
Back in. Awesome.
It is a very good fight. It's interesting because Berridge hasn't fought in over a year, and it is a very dangerous fight for him to go straight back.
Okay.
Get in the deep end.
Is it for a bout?
No, I actually don't know.
Okay.
They haven't announced that part yet, but it is a dangerous fight.
Yeah. Against
for both
top
boxers.
top fighter that's been active.
But
Berridge has got the.
Also at the same time, Berridge isn't able to like find a lot of opponents because Berridge is a top boxer, so not a lot of boxers want to fight him.
Yeah, he takes people out.
And then again, you look on the Hooper side, is that he's just recently come out of prison after his assault last year.
Okay.
So he hasn't been able to fight in like a year and a half.
But he's been training, so that's Hooper.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's at light heavyweight.
Yeah, it's at light heavyweight. So both boxers will probably be quite rusty leading into this fight.
Yeah. In a way, if they haven't had that sort of get rid of that ring rust, but I reckon that would go in the first round. Like these are like cyclists that are just back on the bike, jumping straight back into it, and they can fight as well as box. Like boxing, ring rust would have to go out, but they can fight.
Yes.
And that would be in the first round, and they'll be able to say who's who, what's up, what's going on, and then they'll settle into it pretty quickly. And it's on the David Light undercard?
Well, that's actually our next topic.
Okay, on the next topic. So
next topic is David Light is going to be defending his WBO Oriental Cruiserweight title against Trent Broadhurst.
Trent Broadhurst. Who is that?
Broadhurst, he's well known. He's actually lost
just a couple of losses, or one loss?
Well, he's lost against Robert Berridge back in the past. He's lost against that Russian world champion. I can't remember his name. That actually beat Berridge as well.
Oh yeah, I think I looked up the name.
Yeah,
yep.
People are going to be like screaming at me through.
Not a leader.
Sorry.
No.
So he's been up there. He's fought for a world title like Berridge has, but this time against David Light.
Yeah. So he's defending his bout over in Broadhurst's
against
backyard.
Broadhurst.
Yeah.
So this is going to be like the same fight as Berridge is on.
Okay.
But this is not the main event.
Okay, it's not.
Tim Zui.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, Tim Zui is going to be the main event.
And he's got his opponent. Okay, is that? Yep.
I don't know who the opponent was.
No.
I didn't read too much into it.
for another bout.
For another bout. What?
Probably for Tim.
Yes.
Tim getting he's about 9-0, isn't he?
I think he's more than that. 14-0.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Sorry, I haven't been watching too much Australian boxing.
Boxing.
Damn it, Kendall.
What are we doing here? Okay, cool. What are these guys?
David Light, he just came off he's had a dangerous fight before against Mark Flanagan.
Yeah.
And a lot of people gave him criticism for taking that fight and such early in his career.
Yeah,
and
beforehand, but
it paid off because he won the fight.
Yeah.
And big risk comes with big rewards.
Yeah. And I think they would be smart enough to assess it, and they would be able to recognise, especially with Peach Boxing and Isaac Peach, knowing bits of information to make a calculated risk. Yeah. Chess match of knowing about each fighter, knowing about what their qualities are, what their quantities are, what they can do.
Well,
and they back the fighter. They back David Light.
Yeah, and
the Great White.
This is another dangerous fight. Kind of like it's a dangerous fight for Berridge.
He seems a lot smaller though. So they're both cruiser.
Well, yeah, they're both cruiser, but Trent has gone into light heavyweight, obviously against Berridge, and going for the light heavyweight world title. But he's moved up and down between light heavy and cruiserweight throughout his career. So
we'll be smaller, not as heavy set as Flanagan, but he just David Light didn't let Flanagan get in within range. He was able to pick him off. But he did trade with him a few times, and with his hand speed, I think that's what kept him away.
Yeah.
And led him to win the rounds.
I wonder if this fight will be on Sky as well, because this would be a good fight to put on Sky, as well as the Berridge fight. Two Kiwis going at it, and Tim Zui.
And Tim. So it would be free over there because I think they publicise it.
No, they've got it's on pay-per-view and main event. So,
okay.
So it'll be on TV, so it wouldn't be free.
Yeah.
But this would be a good fight. I think this would actually give a bit of a jump for David Light in the rankings if he won.
Set his place.
Definitely
cement his place.
I know that this fight has been in talks for a while, actually.
Uh-huh.
But there was a lot of negotiations because there were some things that weren't agreeing with, in ways of trying to get them out early enough. But people,
for the fight,
for the media and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But people have got to work, trainers and blah 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 blah. But yeah, I knew this was negotiated for quite a while.
Yeah.
And this sort of thing is being setting up for, if Light wins, this would set him up for a fight against Jai Opatai, who's actually fighting Mark Flanagan as well.
Oh, okay.
That's been announced recently.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be a massive flight. It's going to be a massive fight if that ever happens. I think they're aiming for it late next year.
Okay. It would be massive for across the ditch.
It would be just
more
as
likely
big
in Australia. I keep on wanting to call him Jai.
Jai.
So Jai.
Yeah,
cool.
Jai. Yeah, but I think it would be just as big of a fight if Junior Fa fought Joseph Parker.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. True. Yeah, that'd be different for New Zealand versus Australia and New Zealand versus New Zealand.
Well,
so
that would be a fight, the next Shane Cameron versus David Tor.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, they said that Joseph Parker versus Carly Meehan was going to be the next fight of the century, but Carly Meehan didn't have as much as a big name as Junior Fa did, even though
he's building up.
That he built up. I mean, Carly Meehan everyone knows and loves. He's fought for a world title and he's been ranked multiple times, and he's a veteran, but he wasn't as much in the media
and that's
as
the thing.
Junior Fa was.
Yeah, done more fights overseas and made a name for himself, but not as much I had, and I wasn't as familiar with him.
As with Carly Meehan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on to the next subject, we've gone off topic a bit. Going in with Jamie Hilt fighting for the vacant WBO super lightweight world title against Cairo George, New Zealander Cairo George, vacant.
Nice.
This is the same title that Anthony Taylor has fought and won back 2016, I think it was.
Okay.
Was it? Against Darren, whatever that's his Askew.
ASQ.
Yeah, Askew.
KEW.
Same title. Cairo's going to be fighting for this title.
Whereabouts is that? Australia?
Yeah, it'll be happening in Australia November 2nd.
Okay.
Don't know whereabouts though. It's in Australia, that's all we know.
Not long
ago, November 2nd. So just a couple of weeks away.
TGW.
TGW.
That's the promoters.
That's the promoters.
Okay.
So What do you think about this? With Cairo George going for this world title?
Oh, when the opportunity's there, go for it. Like he's done the hard work. He's backed by a lot of good trainers, and he's had some good camps, and he's got his own gym. He's in the life of boxing.
Yes.
And so when you're putting your best foot forward, if an opportunity comes up, you can't shy away from it. Like he's representing his his weight division, and his ethnicity always across the board, like pointing out, looking for the stronger opponents.
Well, this is
Go for gold.
We keep on going talking about dangerous fights. Jamie Hilt he has announced that this is going to be his last fight. The Australian boxer is going to be his last fight. So it's a dangerous fight for Cairo for multiple reasons, because it's a very skilled boxer.
Yes.
This is his last
Last
fight.
hurrah.
So he's going to try and come out with a big win for himself.
Yep.
Cairo George, I think the biggest fight in his career was against Nort Beauchamp. Biggest win, I should say. He hasn't had a lot of big opportunities, I could say, against these sort of boxers.
Yeah. A few fights have been set up and the opponent's pulled out, or it's been short notice. So this has been one that's set up for something. He's got a legit opponent.
Yes.
There's only good things.
Yeah, and if Cairo wins this fight, he would go on to actually going on for bigger titles, big regional titles,
defending it.
Yeah, because this is what Cairo needs. He needs these sorts of fights to cement him as a good boxer, get his name out,
and people would be chasing him.
Yeah, exactly. And get going for the regional title.
Yeah, and hopefully bringing it to New Zealand. So carrying on with what lights off.
Yeah, the lights are off.
So bringing
distraction.
Bringing more title opportunity shows to New Zealand, expanding boxing. If it's good for boxing, let's go with it.
I noticed Cairo over the last couple of years. Recently, he's been more of bringing more of an image of not showboating, but more of a performer leading into the fight. At weigh-ins, sometimes he'll wear the Ultimate Warrior mask, but very, very intense stare down at the weigh-ins.
Yeah.
I guess it's either he's trying to egg them on or try to scare them before their fight.
Yeah.
Certainly entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah, more animated, and I think you'd see more animation because of with social media, so it's just easier to promote things. It's a little bit cheaper to promote things.
Yeah.
But I think when he turns up to, the weigh-in, the stare down, the face-off is just about him holding his ground. It can end up with forehead to forehead, and a few times there's been a head bout or a push off or a push and a shove. But he's there to fight. He's there to stand his ground. He's there to represent himself and his people. And I think that that's good for boxing. It's he's saying, here I am. You got to go through to get something. You got to go through me.
It's the good thing with promoting yourself. You need to promote yourself in boxing, because promoters aren't going to pay to have you on their fights if you aren't entertaining.
Yeah.
As Shane Cameron always says, he puts the fights on that are going to be entertaining.
Got to bring in the crowd, bring in the money. Yeah. It all swings and roundabouts. But
and how do you get that? You have to be entertaining. You have to be entertaining on social media. I mean, look at Andre Mikhailovich. He is very funny. He's very entertaining. I remember once in a fight against Daniel Maxwell, he went hee and just in the ring.
Yeah. And he can talk the talk because he can walk the walk. He does what needs to be done. So it's people like that can do what they want.
Yeah, exactly.
And as long as you don't cross the line and be disrespectful, which I don't think he does. He's done a lot of interviews where he's pointed out he's not going to talk about sparring. He's not going to talk about other people that he's worked with. It's always respectful, and that's where these people promoting their own shows need to recognise you don't always have to cross the line. You just got to be respectful, turn up, and also just let your hands do your talking.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking forward to this fight actually, because I want Cairo to succeed. But
it's a good test.
It is a good
test. It just really shows, and it takes him to the edge.
Because, like I said, Cairo hasn't had a lot of those opportunities, and I want him to succeed. And he does have the skills, and I just want him to succeed and get onto those top 15 rankings eventually.
Yeah, and I think someone had suggested that he was one of the most underrated fighters in New Zealand. He hadn't been able to showcase his skills. I think it was Lolo.
Yeah, Lolo.
I think someone.
Well, and saying that
Lolo.
Lolo is his trainer. So.
Yeah, true. But he's seen it. He's had first-hand knowledge. He can see his potential, and Cairo has been able to show his potential. So this is where we get to see it.
Okay, last topic for today is that Junior Fa and Hemi Ahio are making their in-ring return on November 15th in Salt Lake City in Utah, if people want to know that.
So both fighting overseas?
They'll be both on the same card.
Okay.
Now, don't get confused. I'm not fighting each other, as someone actually thought that was happening on Facebook.
Yeah.
They're in the same bloody camp. So,
Yes.
so they haven't fought for a while.
Like a year? Less than a year.
Well, less than a year, but...
I think one of them had said that they wouldn't fight the other person unless they were set up for life, because they've been brothers, they've been in similar camps and training at the same gym and stuff like that.
Well,
so
they are training the same
partners.
Gym. So that's not really possible to do that anymore.
Yeah.
But Junior Fa, we've always talked about the possibility of Joseph Parker versus Junior Fa. That's going to be a mega fight.
Yeah, that'd be
we never
awesome.
really talk about Hemi Ahio versus Joseph Parker.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're in the weight division, so the opportunity could be there.
And Hemi, he's like another David Tua, another Mike Tyson. He's got the hand speed, he's got the power behind him. So that would actually make an interesting fight. Similar height, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just about for the difference between Tua. And I think it's just about asking the question, putting it out there, getting the media coverage to recognize, hey, why isn't that question being answered, or why hasn't that been promoted? So especially if it's not going to happen with Junior Fa just yet, or maybe not till next year.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
So it was interesting. I think early in the year, Junior Fa was ranked higher than Joseph Parker was in the WBO ranking.
On BoxRec?
No, not on BoxRec.
Okay, just on WBO in general.
In WBO in general.
Okay.
And then when the Chisora versus Parker fight was announced, suddenly Parker was ranked above Junior Fa.
Yeah.
Don't know how announcing that fight kind of makes the difference.
Yeah.
But interesting how that's gone along. But it's going to be an interesting fight. Interesting fight. We don't know who their opponents are, but it's going to be interesting to see them back in the ring again.
And just staying current, staying active. So that's good for their journey moving forward. Progressing with wanting to expand their skills and stuff like that.
Well, it's interesting with Junior Fa is when he won his WBO Oriental title, which is the same title over there. That's not my title; it's just a replica. He won the interim version of that title because a Chinese boxer actually originally had that title.
Okay.
It wasn't until recently this year he was promoted to a full WBO Oriental title, which means that his next fight should be able to defend that title.
Yeah.
He fought against Dominic Quinn, I think was something like that.
Quinn, don't know.
Something like that. And he actually got knocked down, I think it was in the second round.
Yeah.
And he ended up coming back and winning the fight.
Yeah.
You're looking at the photo.
No, I was going to look at their sponsors because I don't think it's Sint High Tech. I think it's ST. But anyway, ST High Tech, I reckon.
Yeah, it's a car, something like that.
ST High Tech. But yeah, that would have been a wake-up call. Getting knocked down, it's just whoa, okay, that guy can catch me.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to work on something, do something, change it up. And then, it's like that chess game, just working out what's the next best move. And
Hemi Ahio, he just came out of a win. I think, was it also in Saudi Arabia or something like that? Where his opponent was just as much as the brawler as Hemi was. And Hemi,
yeah.
And it was in a first round knockout.
And he took it to him.
They took it to each other. And just won by knockout. And now both boxers are going to be on the same card as from what I hear. And it's going to be good see them both back in the ring again.
Yeah, a lot more efficient for their camps. They're going to have a lot more support, like the kickboxing or the UFC event when they had a number of fighters. So it's just you've got a lot more support, a lot more people, a lot more stuff going on that you've got your little community, you've got your little comfort zone. Even though you're overseas, you can just focus on your family, focus on your sport, and then you go to the ring and do your business.
Yeah. Okay, last question, last topic, because I actually had another topic, but it was
Free for all.
Free for all.
Any questions? Send them through.
Yeah, send the questions through onto our onto the Gladrap comments below. Or,
Anything we need to investigate. If it's indie boxing, then we should know.
So the last topic for today, David Aloua is making his in-ring return against Aaron Russell on November 30th for the IBF Australasian title.
I saw that. Who's Aaron? Aaron Russell's fought a couple of Kiwis, eh?
Yes,
David Light?
Yeah, no, not David Light.
Okay.
So I used to call Aaron Russell the New Zealand beater because he defeated Tino Honey back when he was...
yes.
He's
Amateur or?
No,
pro, yeah.
Pro. He's defeated Nick Charlimbus.
Okay. That's who I recognised, yeah.
Izzy Fa, that cruiserweight, that's Junior Far's cousin.
Yes.
And I think another New Zealand boxer.
So a couple, yeah.
So he's defeated a lot of New Zealand boxers.
Yeah.
He's also been beaten by Lance Bryant, though.
Yeah.
First round, I think it was first round or second round knockout.
Caught him with that power.
Yeah, and
so the difference between David Aloua would be more of a boxer.
Well, this is the thing. This is the thing that happens with David Aloua and Reese Papune. They're both really good boxers, but they both come back out of a long time out of the ring, either
hiatus,
either by injury or because of life. Then you keep working, blah blah, not enough time to train. But they go straight back into the deep end, and because they're going back into the deep end, they get a little bit in trouble because they've got a little bit of ring rust, and they're not as good as they would unless they actually had like a warm-up fight to prepare themselves for these sorts of fights.
Could do, but they back themselves because they've got the skills to pay the bills. And I think, I would just hope that the camps have done their homework, recognise it as an opportunity, and then they can bring their fighter out of their fighter. They can bring out their fighter's potential.
Yes.
So being thrown in the deep end, but you learn to swim, and also you just got to put in the hard work and then just turn up.
I'm just a little bit worried because these sort of things happen, and because Reese has done it multiple times where he takes some time and takes a break from boxing and comes back, fights someone like Blake
Caparello.
And ends up getting knocked out in the 8th round.
Say it, Caparello.
Caparello. He's done that a couple of times. He's fought Trent Broadhurst as well.
Yeah.
I think there was quite a bit of a time difference between his last fight and that fight, and other fights as well.
Yeah.
And he never has those warm-up fights, and he's not as active.
Yeah. But he's been resting, so you look at it from either end of the scale, that they've been resting and they've been building up their strength and power and whatever, and they're not worn out. But you definitely got to get past that ring rust, and it's just recognizing of you really being put in that fight situation before you realize how prepared you are. But mentality goes a long way, and they've been able to work. You can always work on something.
Yeah. With if people who don't know much about David Aloua, mostly brought up in his career in Australia. He trained with Anthony Mundine, actually. And I think the biggest win of his career was against Brad Pitt, the Australian cruiserweight, and knocking him out. I can't remember what round.
And the 8-man?
No.
David.
That was before.
Yeah.
And not just knocking him out, that win actually got him to be in the top 15, not just on BoxRec, but top 15 on WBC, WBA, and WBO.
Yeah.
So he got a big ranking boost.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, after that fight, he fought Anthony McCracken, and he ended up losing that fight.
Yeah, one of McCracken's last fights.
Yep, I think that was McCracken's. Oh no, second to last fight. But we didn't see much of David Aloua since, and I'm not entirely sure if that's because of contract obligations to Super 8, because they were signing up boxers for multiple year contracts.
Okay.
And that's why Hemi Ahio didn't actually fight for a long time, because he was stuck in a contract with the same promoter.
Yeah.
But with David Aloua, he came back to fight on a Mundine stadium show. I think it was Mundine versus... I can't remember who. Mundine versus Dave... What's his... Green, Daniel Green.
Oh, okay.
Is it Daniel Green or Daniel Green? Danny Green, yeah.
Danny, yeah.
And he won that.
Two.
Yeah, and he won that fight against that boxer, but he was incredibly rusty and he ended up breaking his hand in that fight.
Okay.
So we didn't see David Aloua for a long time.
Yeah.
And then David Lowe came back again on another. I think it was like Anthony Mundine versus Jeff Horn.
Yeah.
And he lost against the name escapes me.
But he's got the goods, and he's been promoted well, and
Yes.
so I've only heard good things about him, and I've seen him on social media, and he's current enough that he's not that far away,
No,
and so
but
I just hope.
he's accepting these big massive fights
Yeah.
like Reese Papuni did, and it's the wrong time. He should really have like.
But it's good for boxing. So
It's good for boxing.
A couple of good fighters getting in there, giving it their best, putting their best foot forward. Like that's the best man will win on the day, and we get to see him fight again. So there's a bigger picture. I don't want to see him, fighting a nobody or fighting someone that's not going to test him or push him. Like I trust their camps are gonna, recognize whether it's a good play for his career, but just get him back into the ring as soon as possible. Stop complaining about it. Let's go. Let's get it on.
I'm not complaining. I'm just like I'm more worried. It's like, is this
Are you his manager?
No.
No. So,
but is
okay,
this
cool.
the right
Moving right
decision?
along.
Is this
Next,
the
what
right
else we got?
decision though?
Yeah.
Is it the right decision for this career? Should he have a World fight? Probably. And I think it would be the right fight for him, but not right
If it's
now.
a fight, it's good. What fighters do.
That's what
we
fighters-
do. Let's do it.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's the end of our episode today. It was a pretty good episode.
Yeah, no, we know. I learned a few things.
Did you?
Yeah. Now to investigate prestigious. How do I get into the Hall of Fame?
You want to
So-
get in? You have to make an in-ring to return.
Yeah, totally.
A fight
totally.
in Australia and America a couple
So
of times.
any other questions? What
No.
can we investigate?
Yeah, send us some
we can-
questions for next time.
Ignore what Benji's got set up for the next time.
Well,
What's what with Benji? What?
I have to say my opinions are just as important as Last Rebels.
Yeah.
No one really cares. Anyway,
Anyway,
have a good day.
thank you.